Hello, sweet YouTube friends. So this is probably going to be the fastest recipe we ever do together. There is no actual recipe, there is no cooking, and no canning. And this will be your absolute favorite salsa. This salsa is a fermented salsa. I got the bug for fermenting last year, and I fermented so much salsa that I still have some in the fridge downstairs. I'll pop in a picture of that to show you. I ended up using our last, I still have one left, but I used about 4 of them to make like an enchilada pie because I was like, we're gonna have tomatoes again. What am I gonna do with all this salsa? So I'm not gonna go quite so crazy this year. But here's the thing. You can take a tomato. You can take onions, peppers, garlic, cilantro, whatever you want to put in here, and you can basically keep them fresh as when you pick them off the vine. It's wild. Once you start fermenting, you can't stop. So let me show you what we do. I did all the chopping this morning when the kids were getting ready for camp, so it's all ready to go. Even though there's no recipe, I'm going to give you some approximates. This is about 15-16 cups of tomato. I used a lot of our cherry tomatoes and our grape tomatoes, and you just cut them to any size you want. Then I've got about 3 cups of diced onion. This is a combination of red onion and white onion. I have about 3 cups of a green pepper and a banana pepper combined. I have about 4 huge cloves of garlic and a couple of spicy peppers. You can use, I think these are ajo peppers. You can use jalapeno, whatever you like. And if you don't like spicy, don't add them. Oh my gosh, I'm breathing that in already. Then we've got 4 tablespoons of salt, and I know that because I'm using 2 half-gallon jars. You want 2 tablespoons per jar. Now if I end up with extra, it's okay, and if I need to add more vegetables in to make it fit, I can. I have a feeling it's going to be just about perfect, just because I've done this before. And then technically, if I had cilantro, I would add cilantro. I don't have any. I'm going to add some cumin and coriander just to kind of make up for that taste that's not going to be there with the cilantro. Or I'll stick some cilantro in later on. I'll get some cilantro in there if I can get some at a farmer's market. Mine is just like itty bitty. We already had the first flush and now we're waiting for the second flush. And that's it. So we're just going to mix this up. That's all there is to it. We're going to mix this up and then we're going to get it into our jars. Then I'm going to weight them down with these lids, and then I'll be putting on fermentation lids. It's that easy. I think I better take a picture of this before I put it in the jars because look at that. That is the most beautiful salsa you've ever seen. And it's basically going to stay just like this. And like I said, mine's been in the fridge for over a year. So typically with my ferments, I let them go for about 2 weeks. With this salsa, it's a different story. It's sometimes between like 3 and 5 days. It can be fast. So you do want to make sure you're checking. You want to make sure that you're, if you don't have a fermentation lid, that you're burping it, which means just letting the lid come off, let a little bit of air out, and then put the lid back on. With these fermentation lids, I don't have to do that, which is why I use them. It's such a great shortcut. So we're going to fill them up. Get some of those juices down in the bottom. Just going to press that down with the lid to see how much more I can get in there. Okay, so I'm going to call that good. I'm going to keep the weight in, put the lid on. I sit these on a bowl and I put them over in my corner, my fermentation corner in my kitchen, and I will put the date that I started this on so that I can remember when I started that. So you can see I'm leaving about an inch at the top. So if you push the weight all the way down, you've got about an inch. So the inch is kind of like at the bottom rim there. And you just want a little space because things are gonna change. Now, just a little side note, if you're at all worried that your salt won't be evenly distributed, you can go ahead and add the salt individually to the jars after you've added the vegetables, or like as you put the vegetables in, layer the salt in, give it a mix. That's fine. I trust that it's gonna be fine because I've made this before, but if you're worried about it, just go ahead. Now, what I want you to see is that the liquid is about here right now. In about an hour, the entire thing will be submerged in its own liquid. You're not adding any water. This makes its own brine. And then I've got my honey still going over here. Beautiful honey. I'll probably put those in a cabinet soon, a darker cabinet, because they've done a pretty good job. You can see most of the moisture is pulled out of the herbs already. Oh my gosh, it's so heavy. They're so heavy. Oh my goodness, this is like a lot of pounds of food. I'm probably gonna weigh these. Okay, so this is it. That's how easy it was. The fastest, the quickest salsa you'll ever make. You know when the words start to feel funny in your mouth or when you write them? That was happening. I gotta put one down, it's so heavy. It's so heavy. All right, that's fermented salsa day. And then we're going to be making my other favorite salsa, which is a canning salsa, a recipe that I can. And sometimes what I do is I mix them together when we eat them, and that is delicious as well. You guys, we have a coyote. The dogs are barking because the coyote has been here all morning. Dave even took them out like coyote hunting, and Delilah went and like made friends with it. So we're screwed. We're never gonna get rid of this coyote. So the chicken are in quarantine again. Oh boy. All right, happy salsa making. Sending love. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you.